bright yellow Gothic. Births, death. Think about me. Kingdom. An animal frozen. A heavenly body. A small demon. A movement away from shore. The juggler. Why do you hate me? Look across the field. What do you see? Is that not your brother staring back at you? It is where taboo lives. That's awful. And this poem, it's filthy. Roar. Oh, it's so soft. What's taboo? A kind of magic? Oh, I do hate you. I do. The things that follow you. Heart racing in the middle of the night. Are you, his fingers were numb? Look out there. It was all inside him. Looking out there. The storm baring its teeth. We've shadowed the moon. Let us blow out the candles. Was that singing? Hark. Early, early comes the dark. Okay. So yes, that I think hopefully gave you a taste of what my version of 4-panel work is all about. I say my version because in fact, it's a template that I've kind of created for artists to experiment in, and everybody's approach is a little different. With this presentation, I hope to give you a sense of, I guess, a little bit of the history of 4-panel, how it's developed, and all the different voices that might be participating. And there also will be ways for you, of course, to check it out on your own. There are plenty of free strips on our 4panel.ca website, and that's the easiest place to see a whole lot of 4-panel material all at once. Carousel Magazine is sort of like the starting point of the 4-panel project. So I'm going to just give you a little bit of a sense of what Carousel is all about. Oh, I see I can control it a bit here. So I've been doing Carousel Magazine for about a decade, maybe a little longer. Carousel is kind of a catch-all space for literature and visual art, and it started as a literary magazine. So we have the usual poetry and fiction that you would see in a literary magazine. But as an editor and designer, I've always wanted to bring in a lot more visual work to the magazine as well. What ended up happening was we sort of developed a way of working, and for when I say we, I say I'm sort of was testing ideas and sort of figuring out the technical approaches, and then they were doing the actual work. So when you see one of these strips, it's actually tends to be strips from the one panel from the 4 different artists, but we've kind of unified things in terms of color, and we've also like shared panels as they were being developed. So if you see in panel 2 and panel 3, there's that tent. So we kind of created a list of items as they were growing that the artists could sort of dip into and do their own versions of. So it's a really kind of complicated and fun methodology for creating a complex animation. And the sequencing that I ended up doing here was actually about riffing panel to panel. So there's no singular idea driving the work. It's about this shuffle.